This is going to kind of be the moment of truth for how the rest of the day is going to feel. If we get this, it's going to be a high note. If we don't, it's going to be a little down.
The first of the year is always one of the most exciting days on the calendar for birders. The prior year's totals are reset, and every single bird is new again. We've made it a tradition to go out on January 1st and find as many bird species as possible to start the year off right. This year, we tallied our first bird of 2025 just minutes after 2024 ended, when we heard some geese flying over.
Canada geese. Ryan, there's geese outside. Come get them, come get them.
Canada geese.
Canada geese. The accidental first of the year.
Yep, that's Canada geese for sure. The first of the year bird you didn't ask for,
but
that you
but
needed.
You get. It's officially 2025, the start of a new year, which I think is the most exciting time for birders because the year lists reset to 0, so any bird you see is new for the year. Our first bird was actually picked for us. We walked outside and heard Canada geese overhead, so we always kind of wonder what it's going to be. This year, it seemed kind of like destiny, just Canada geese overhead. We have a pretty ambitious plan. We're going to try to find the rarest bird in the state, the white wagtail. If we can get that, it feels like anything else is going to be gravy, but we'll always go for a high total too. So let's see what we can find.
After an extremely short night's sleep, we met up with our friends Chris and Colette, who were joining us on our all-day excursion. Our goal for the first of year was the same as always: get as high of a total as possible, while also finding as many rare species as possible too.
We are on our way up to Sturgeon Bay. If we can get the white wagtail, which is the rarest bird in the state, that would just set us up for so much success, because it kind of feels like after that everything's a bonus. But we're going to go for a high total too, so we're going to start there. Hopefully we get that, and then we're going to go to the Green Bay area and then probably hit the lakefront. So we're looking for big concentrations of species, like open water for waterfowl, good stretches of forest with feeders for those forest birds. So all kind of hinges on this first stop.
It was just starting to get light when we arrived in the county we would be starting our search in. Before going to the exact spot where the wagtail had been seen in the days prior, we made a brief stop to pick up a few birds before the sun was even up.
Red-breasted merganser, crow, and raven calling. So we're on the board with a few species in the beautiful snow.
It's not even light out, really.
No, it's just the beginning.
In addition to these species, we also managed to find some common backyard birds as well.
Goldfinches just came in for a landing. Cardinals in the middle of that bush there, so some nice feeder birds to add in. Oh, I got a video of the chickadee.
With enough light to start our search for the tiny white wagtail, we moved into position to hopefully secure this rarity on our 2025 list.
We're here at the wagtail spot, so this is going to kind of be the moment of truth for how the rest of the day is going to feel. If we get this, it's going to be a high note. If we don't, it's going to be a little down. So let's see if it's there.
We walked the sandy beach that looked absolutely beautiful with a thin layer of snow falling on it. Unfortunately, we received some potentially bad news. The original finders of this bird came back earlier than we did today and got it. They said it's still here, but it flew south someplace. So now we're just kind of scanning the shore, seeing if it'll come back. It's not an ideal situation because it's going to take a lot of time, most likely, to locate this bird if we want it. And obviously on the first of the year, you're trying to, rush through seeing all the different species. So it's definitely putting a damper on our plan. Another thing putting a damper on things is the snow, because this bird, which is of course white, is a lot harder to pick out when there's a blanket of snow covering the ground. So a little bit of the odds stacked against us here, but we'll see if we can find a way to see this bird and not take up the whole day doing so. While we scanned the shoreline, we got news that Candy and Rush, the original finders of the bird, had once again relocated it south of where we were. We raced across the beach back to the car and made our way over, hoping the bird wouldn't fly away before we got to see it. To get to the spot where the wagtail was being seen, we walked a break wall out into the lake. Unfortunately, the wagtail had eluded us once again as it dipped out of view just before we got there. We did, however, add 2 more species for the day when we noticed 2 ruddy ducks and a Thayer's type Iceland gull. Both were actually marked as rare. Just when we were starting to lose hope, Candy found the bird yet again.
I got her.
While the views were extremely distant, it still counted as a check mark for the white wagtail on our 2025 lists.
Got the white wagtail, probably the biggest rarity in the state, if not the country. Really excited to get it. Views were distant and it feels like it's Siberia out here right now with the snow and the cold, but really relieved and happy to get that bird checked off the list for 2025.
Views were much better the other day, but it's good to have that one for the year. So that makes the rest of the day feel so much less pressure. Feels good.
We caught up with Candy and Rush, who were integral in helping us find it.
It's a white wagtail, huh?
Yes.
2 years now, 2024 and 2025.
Right? Great way to start the new year. Couldn't have asked for a better New Year's bird.
Yeah. What's it like finding something like that for the first time?
I don't even really have words to describe it. I was speechless when we first spotted the bird. He actually had to tell me to breathe because I stopped breathing. It was amazing, and being able to share it with so many people is the best part.
Eventually, the wagtail flew a little bit closer, making it just a little easier to see. We also added a red-bellied woodpecker before moving on to our next stop, feeling incredibly good with the year so far.
How are we feeling?
I feel a wave of relief that we checked off the white wagtail. I'm really excited that we got that Iceland gull. That was a really good find. And I love the fact that it's snowing. It makes everything look so pretty and much more epic than it would have been if it was sunny.
Next, we cruised around some forest roads, where we added some more common species. Got a lot of forest birds driving this road. We hit an area where there's some feeders, and we had a lot of woodpeckers, downy, hairy, red-bellied. That was really good. Blue jay was a good pickup, and then white-breasted nuthatch. So we picked up a bunch of the more easy species here, and we'll see if we can find some other ones before we leave Door County. After spotting some new species in the forest, we turned our attention to a spot for waterfowl. Here we located some out-of-season birds.
Really good stop for waterfowl here. We had redhead, canvasback, mallard, greater scaup. So feeling good about that. We're going to check out some other spots here, but feeling pretty good so far.
Having accumulated a fairly nice total and collecting a few rare birds already, we headed to what may have been our most surprising encounter of the day on a road called Strawberry Lane. Here, we heard and then saw another out-of-season bird.
We got belted kingfisher, which they're not common. Some stay around in the wintertime, but they're definitely not easy to find, so that's a good bird.
It was then that we saw an eagle fly over the road, and to our surprise, it was not a common bald eagle, but a rare golden eagle.
Golden eagle, let's go!
Yeah,
that is
awesome.
so cool. It just flew right by.
Yeah.
What perfect timing.
We're having kind of a wild rarity
It's a wild day, man.
Strawberry Lane!
Before leaving, we had one more quick first of the year sighting.
Clutch black duck pickup.
We're having a good day so far. I mean, that golden eagle is so cool. That wasn't even like on our radar for the spot, so.
Amazing.
Yeah, let's keep it rolling.
As we were leaving Door County, there was one more bird that we wanted to find. We stopped at a gas station, took a little break, and now we're back at it again. We're cruising around this area where I actually had a snowy owl the other day to see if it's still around. It's not on its favorite perch that it apparently likes, but we're hoping we can see it on one of the buildings or other areas here. Feeling really good about the amount of rarities we've had so far today, and there's a lot of things that we still don't have that are kind of simple, should be simple.
House sparrow.
House finch, house sparrow, pigeon, starling, so there's some stuff on the table to get. Now, will we get a super high total? It's unclear, but we've had a great day so far. After spending just a little bit of time looking for the snowy owl, we decided to move on to Green Bay, when we got some exciting news from one of the area birders.
So we were on our way to head south to a different location, and then Cameron reached out to us and said they found the snowy, so we're actually headed back, go try to find that. We didn't want to spend too much time on it, but if we know it's there, it's worth the extra time to go back and find it if we can get it.
We arrived at the point Cameron gave us, and there it was, a beautiful snowy owl.
Snowy owl, let's go!
That's awesome.
That's perfect. I thought we weren't going to get this one, and we got it. We've been hitting on everything so far. It's keep it rolling.
Thank you, Cameron.
Cameron, man.
Thank you to him, man.
What a beautiful owl, too.
Snowy owls are actually an eruptive bird species, which means that their movements are based mostly on food. So if it was a good year for food in the north where the snowy owls live, then a lot more snowy owls will end up reaching adulthood, and those owls may need someplace to go if the food is scarce then in the wintertime. So on some years there will be a big influx of snowy owls into the United States and the lower 48. Sometimes they're more scarce. This year's been a good year so far, and it's such a pleasure to be able to see this snowy owl. It's one of the most beautiful birds, a big time spark bird for a lot of people.
Before continuing on, we caught up with Cameron. Without his help, we wouldn't have found this bird.
We were notified of a tip in the area. We were searching across the highway and just decided to come around the block, and sure enough, there it was up on top of the telephone pole, and just wanted to tell you guys to get it on video.
Hero.
Beautiful.
We left Door County with a respectable 28 species. While driving to our next location, we added 3 more.
We had an American kestrel and then some pigeons on a power line, but we didn't get
Starlings, starlings.
And starlings right there.
Oh man, I did not get those on video.
So, well, you saw the sighting, or you heard the sighting, but that's how some of this goes. It's so quick that we can't get media of everything.
We arrived at a road where a couple of species we still needed had been reported. At first, it seemed there weren't any birds around at all, but then things started to pick up.
It was super quiet on this road when all of a sudden a pair of eastern bluebirds popped up in this tree, so that's pretty good for January.
The bluebirds made us really pay attention to what else might be in the trees on this road, and as it turned out, there was actually a huge flock of yellow-rumped warblers.
Huge flock of yellow-rumped warblers in here. More than I've ever seen this time of year. Pretty wild.
While looking at the warblers, we found 2 more new species on this road as well.
Just picked up cedar waxwings and an American robin, but if we keep getting species like those yellow-rumped warblers and those bluebirds, that's really going to help our total, because these are birds that aren't available to see on the first every single year.
We left this magical road and headed out to a new location. On the way, we finally got a species we somehow hadn't added to our list yet.
That's a red-tailed hawk.
Red-tailed hawk.
Red-tailed hawk.
Let's go!
Well, it's about time.
We've been waiting for that.
There you go.
Still feeling great about how the day was going, we arrived in Green Bay, eager to keep it up.
We're here at the Bay Beach Wildlife Sanctuary, and they have a ton of cool birds inside, but we're here for the wild stuff. So there's a ton of ducks we're going to scan, and also the feeders and the forest we're going to take a good look at.
The bird feeders at the Wildlife Sanctuary brought in a lot of common species we didn't have yet, including wild turkeys. They also presented us with an opportunity to derail our quest.
These feeders behind me are so full, and this is one of the traps you can fall into when doing a big day, is hanging out at a place like this too long, because you could watch these birds, take photographs of them, and it would take up a bunch of your time, but we got to keep moving. So it's hard to pull away from this, but we're going to keep moving forward.
We pulled ourselves away from the bird feeders and went to some open water where there were tons of ducks and geese. The group consisted entirely of mallards, Canada geese, and American black ducks.
We didn't get any new ducks in here, but it was pretty cool to just be so close to them. There's some American black ducks mixed in, and I'm sure some hybrids as well. But we're gonna move on.
Next, we went to a place with some tall grasses lining the road, perfect for sparrows. We're at a place called Cayer's Nature Area, and it's a location where a lot of sparrows come because people have traditionally put seed along the side of the road. There's a lot of nice brush for them. So we finally got American tree sparrow, which has eluded us all day, and then 2 white-crowned sparrows too. And we're going to see if there's any more species of sparrows here, because if we can get some more out-of-season birds, that would be excellent for our total. We spent some time watching the edge of the grasses, and eventually, our persistence paid off.
We finally got our white-throated sparrow. Took a little bit because they kept flushing, and I think there's only one white-throated, so it took a little bit for all of us to see it, but we got it. Now we're moving on to our next spot.
Next, we went to a marsh in hopes of finding some raptors. Unfortunately, the high winds kept the birds out of sight, and we picked up a total of 0 new birds.
That was definitely the biggest bust of the day so far, and my cheeks are numb, and so are my lips. So it was just kind of a miserable time, but that's when you have to remember that you saw a white wagtail today and everything is all right.
Our next stop, however, would prove to be one of our best. We're going to a place called Voyager Park, which is a real big hotspot in the wintertime in the Green Bay area because the water usually stays open even when there's ice covering the rest of the area. So a lot of waterfowl and species that you would think would migrate south usually spend their time there. We looked at one of the checklists that people put out earlier today, and it looked like it had a lot of species, at least 5 to 6, that we need for the day still. So if we do a good job here, it could bring us really close to that total of 50 that we're always shooting for. So this would be a big stop for us. With the weather taking a turn for the worse, birding at this park was absolutely brutal, but we were still able to find many new birds for the year. When we looked at other checklists at this park, we noticed one bird that was reported that we hadn't seen yet, which Chris promptly found as soon as we mentioned it.
Dude, that was the most ridiculous thing ever.
Get lucky.
You want to need a peregrine? There it is.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were looking for a peregrine.
We
Sorry.
just did a little peregrine detective work because somebody had this checklist
Awesome.
and we matched it up to that window over there, and it's in like the same spot. So
Well, you
that
were
was kinda
like,
awesome.
I think
I'm
it's
like,
over
I
there.
think
And
it's
Chris
over
is
here.
like,
Chris is like,
yeah, I got it.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. Oh, there.
Ridiculous spot of the week.
Well, even a blind squirrel can find a nut sometimes.
We left Voyager Park with 49 species, just one away from our goal of 50. With time running out, we had one last chance to find our 50th bird of the day. We did pretty well at Voyager Park. It was frigid, freezing cold, so it made looking for anything difficult, but we meticulously picked out the species and actually got 2 peregrine falcons, which was really cool. We now sit at 49 species for the day, so we need one more to get to 50, which is always our target. We're gonna see if we can get over to a place where short-eared owls are known to be, so that'd be great to end with a short-eared owl and get 50 or over. While we were driving to the short-eared owl spot, we had one more clutch sighting.
Let's go, rough-legged hawk for 50. Saw it flying away, got a photo of it to confirm.
Oh, the picture's terrible.
That's okay.
I zoom in on it. Ah, I got him.
I feel a lot better now that we got 50.
Clutch sighting!
Ah, there it is. He's pumped.
Let's go!
Feeling incredibly excited and relieved, we waited for short-eared owls to arrive, but they sadly never did, leaving our day's total at 50.
Well, it's just about too dark to see here, and we have not seen any short-eared owls. It's been really quiet as far as birds flying over, except for that rough-legged hawk. So I'm glad we got that to get to 50, but we're going to head out. It is freezing outside. We had an amazing day. It's just quite the adventure.
As usual, our first of the year tradition proved to be incredibly fun. From finding the white wagtail in the snow to checking off common species at bird feeders, we had a great time enjoying yet another memorable first of the year. This is a tradition of ours that will continue every year, and we hope everyone listening had fun getting involved as well. We posted on our social media that anyone going out and birding on the first of the year should share their checklists with us. We had a lot of great responses from all over the world, and if you'd like to see a breakdown of those checklists, take a look at the video linked in the description below. If you liked this birding adventure, be sure to comment on what was your first bird of the year that you saw. Give it a like and subscribe if you aren't already. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Badgerland Birding.